And across the ring stands his opponent fighting out of the red corner. Wearing blue, trimmed in gold, he weighed in 142 3/4 pounds. In 24 professional bouts, his record stands at 23 victories. Just one defeat, 19 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBC lightweight champion of the world. He is the fighting pride of the high desert from Victorville, California. Presenting King Ryan Garcia.
Mario El Azteca Barrios.
We went over the rules in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say, you must obey. Good luck.
Barrios attacking the body.
Police and came back to win the match.
Barrios looking to establish the Jets.
And not trying to give too much, leaving the pressure up to...
Final 30 seconds of the third round in a lightweight title unification.
Oh my!
Man still has a lot of fight.
Told that this corner's been threatening to turn down here in round 4. Was cut for the in the first frame. Barrios establishing one stick. And nice 1-2.
Either start fighting more or...
Barrios at 21-0, 13 knocked. Barrios describing his style as a buck.
So I think Barrios could snap out jabs at a certain distance.
Because that's what speed does. It makes you...
For Barrios, that's a 31% connect clip.
In there.
Bell ring rings, and instantly the vibe feels wrong for anyone expecting a slow feeling out round, because Ryan comes out like he's allergic to silence.
The body in the first frame. Barrios establishing
In there.
Final 30 seconds of the third round in a lightweight title unification. Barrios looking to establish the Jet. And nice 1-2.
Either start fighting more or...
Down here in round 4, Barrios at 21-0, 13 knocked. Barrios describing his style as a buck.
So I think Barrios could snap out jabs at a certain distance.
He fires off rapid combinations that feel accelerated, almost like the action has been pushed into overdrive. Every punch is twitch quick and razor sharp, delivered with a sense of urgency. There's an impatience in his movement, as if he's trying to bend the pace of the fight to his will before it even has a chance to settle.
Barrios attacking the body in the first frame. Barrios establishing
In there.
Final 30 seconds of the third round in a lightweight title unification. Barrios looking to establish the Jet. And nice 1-2.
Either start fighting more or...
Down here in round 4, Barrios at 21-0, 13 knocked. Barrios describing his style as a buck.
So I think Barrios could snap out jabs at a certain distance.
But this is where the dynamic shifts. Barrios refuses to get pulled into the chaos. His guard stays tight, his footwork measured, applying steady pressure like someone calmly walking through a storm rather than sprinting away from it. In the early rounds, the contrast is striking. Ryan unleashes explosive flurries that spark reactions from the crowd, fast bursts designed to steal moments. Meanwhile, Barrios works with patience, digging to the body, claiming position, investing in subtle advantages as if he's building something round by round instead of chasing instant highlights.
Of the third round in a lightweight title unification. Barrios looking to establish the Jet. And nice 1-2.
Either start fighting more or...
Down here in round 4, Barrios at 21-0, 13 knocked. Barrios describing his style.
Then the tempo begins to fracture. One exchange erupts in a flash of speed, the next turns rough and physical. The pattern becomes harder to read. Ryan attempts to command distance with quick entries and exits, using velocity to dictate terms. But Barrios keeps reshaping the ring in subtle ways, cutting angles, stepping forward, shrinking space little by little until the canvas feels smaller than it did a round ago.
So I think Barrios could snap out jabs at a certain distance.
Because that's what speed does. It makes you...
For Barrios, that's a 31% connect clip.
Those open lanes Ryan tried to create suddenly started closing, turning into crowded exchanges instead of clean escapes. By the middle rounds, momentum felt unstable. shifting back and forth with no one fully claiming control. A sharp, eye-catching combination from Ryan here, a steady, physical response from Barrios there. It became a live tug-of-war between composure and urgency. One fighter pushing for explosive moments, the other leaning on patience and pressure. Neither able to dominate for long, both forcing the other to constantly adjust in real time.
Either start fighting more or...
Down here in round 4, Barrios at 21-0, 13 knockdowns. Barrios describing his style as a buck.
So I feel like Barrios could snap out jabs at a certain distance.
Because that's what speed does. It makes you...
4, Barrios sets up.
As the later rounds unfold, the tone shifts. What began as spectacle turns into a test of discipline and survival instincts. Sweat, timing, and subtle adjustments start outweighing flashy exchanges. It's no longer about viral highlights, it's about who can stay composed when fatigue creeps in. There's no clean storyline, no one-note dominance. Instead, it's a tense and unpredictable collision where moments of brilliance keep running into stubborn resilience. Two different fighting philosophies, constantly clashing, neither willing to fully surrender control of the night. That unpredictable, momentum-swinging energy makes the final press conference feel different in hindsight. What sounded like typical promotion, both men described as hungry, promises of fireworks, now feels less like hype and more like a psychological preview of what actually unfolded. Because once you've seen the fight, you realize those words weren't marketing exaggerations. They were a blueprint for the chaos and intensity that defined the night.
For these fights, how has this camp been with your dad? Has it felt like kind of old times with him back in charge?
Yeah, it does feel like old times, you know. There's been a couple moments where it just feels like, man, is it like swinging back to like 2020 throwback, you know what I mean? Mark Castro came by the gym, everybody's coming by the gym. It just felt like, you know, a little bit of a throwback.
Then Oscar de la Hoya steps in, radiating absolute confidence after seeing the intensity in Ryan's eyes. And honestly, that statement carries more weight when you remember how explosive and emotionally charged Ryan looked in certain stretches of the fight. That visible spark translated into those sudden momentum-shifting bursts where his speed completely seized control of the tempo. At the same time, Oscar made sure to give Barrios credit for his refusal to fold under pressure, a detail that, in hindsight, foreshadowed why the bout never spiraled into one-sided chaos. The champion mentality he referenced didn't show up as theatrics or noise. It showed up as composure, structure, and calm decision-making when the pressure was highest.
100%. I really feel Ryan, when I saw him in last press conference in LA, I saw something in his eyes that only fighters see. Right? I've been in this game forever, so I can see that fire, that spark. I can see the fact that he went back to his father and their training, going back old school and getting ready for a world title shot. This is a fight that he's been waiting for all his.
When Lupe speaks about a 20-year journey and predicts the emergence of a new face of boxing, it sounds bold, almost like a movie script writing itself. Listening to that, it feels clear that ambition was powering one corner, while measured discipline was driving the other. Then Henry Garcia raises the question everyone keeps circling back to: which version of Ryan shows up? And when he answers it by referencing the performances against Luke Campbell, Javier Fortuna, and Devin Haney, it paints the picture of a mentally hybrid fighter, someone capable of shifting styles depending on the moment. Inside the ring, that's exactly what unfolded. Instead of one steady identity, we saw flashes colliding, explosive brilliance mixed with strategic restraint, creating a performance that never settled into a single rhythm.
You said in interviews that you want to test him. You want to make him ask questions in the ring. What does that look like?
Just making him uncomfortable, just trying to exploit his weaknesses, and just every round, just making him
Meanwhile, Joe Goossen's description of Barrios as a disciplined model fighter in the gym doesn't come with fireworks, but it carries weight. When he talks about tightening the defense and dialing up calculated aggression, it feels less like a reinvention and more like a quiet system upgrade. Subtle, efficient, dangerous. But the coldest moment comes when Barrios calmly states that his goal is simple: make Ryan uncomfortable. And Ryan immediately fires back, rejecting the idea outright. That exchange isn't trash talk, it's psychology in real time. One fighter dismissing discomfort as irrelevant, the other constructing an entire strategy around creating it. That single interaction might capture the essence of the matchup better than any highlight reel. It's not just speed versus pressure. It's denial versus design, two mindsets colliding long before the punches even start flying.
Let us know about how serious was Ryan in the camp.
I can elaborate on that. See, Ryan likes to troll. We already know. He likes to do that. But in our reality, privately we go to the gym afterwards, and we take care of business. And I've always said this to my boys, business before pleasure, and we take care of business. He does the streaming, he does the trolling, at the living room, and people say, oh man, you're not serious. Look at the father's just standing there. No. Hey, I've been doing this since he was 7 years old. I am not a new coach.
That icy, composed energy from the face-off takes on a deeper meaning once Henry Garcia starts speaking. Now it's no longer promoter optimism or trainer diplomacy. It's a father reflecting on years of sacrifice and belief. When he says this moment feels like a full circle after training Ryan since childhood, the emotional undertone becomes clear. To him, this isn't just another fight. It's something deeply personal, years of work, setbacks, and growth wrapped into one night. He even acknowledges stepping back at one point to protect their bond, which is rare in boxing. Most camps fracture over pride. This one adjusted out of preservation. But the tone shifts when Henry confidently states he doesn't view Barrios as a serious threat. That's a strong psychological position, especially considering Barrios enters as a seasoned, durable champion. Then there's the subtle strategy behind dismissing those casual training clips as nothing more than trolling, while insisting the real preparation stayed behind closed doors. That feels less like deflection and more like calculated media chess, controlling perception publicly while sharpening tools privately.
He said, Dad, I told you I wasn't ready. I mean, that just broke my heart because I knew. And I was like, wow, man. I said, well, you know what? We're here. It wasn't Ryan, but you know what? Like I said, God changed him. His whole perspective. He's very active now. You've seen his body, how he is. I mean, he's just tip-top shape, thanks to his strength and conditioning coach, Donnie. And his just mental state of mind, his mind, body, and soul is 100%. You're going to see the Ryan that fought Oscar Duarte, if not better. Mark my.
When the conversation turns to Ryan's suspension, his struggles with depression, and the mental battles he's faced, the story shifts dramatically. This isn't just an inconsistent fighter anymore. It's a man rebuilding his identity under the spotlight. Henry Garcia recalls a moment mid-fight when Ryan admitted, "Dad, I told you I wasn't ready." That isn't theatrics, it's a raw, psychological scar being openly acknowledged. But Henry immediately pivots, highlighting how Ryan's mind, body, and spirit are now fully aligned. Mentally sharp, physically optimized, and spiritually centered, he's layering confidence over past vulnerability. Henry also subtly critiques Joe Goossen and the trainer changes, framing them as calm analysis rather than outright commentary, pointing out that familiarity alone isn't enough to catch them off guard. On one side, a camp says nothing should surprise them. On the other, Barrios prepares to make Ryan uncomfortable. It's familiarity versus unpredictability, fatherly belief versus a champion's composure. When a father-coach speaks with that blend of pride, defense, and certainty, it doesn't come off as hype. It comes across as genuine belief that this version of Ryan, the one who's rebuilt and refined, is finally the fighter stepping into the ring.
Matchup, Mario Barrios is a great fundamental boxer. He's not maybe the most skilled boxer, and he doesn't maybe have the best defensive decision-making as a world champion. He gets hit with a lot of punches, and he will bite down on the mouthpiece and go at you, but he has good fundamental punching, right? He has good hand placement. He does things correctly, and he's a world champion for a reason. He knows how to win fights. Now, if Ryan isn't able to, and you go back to the Rolly fight, and you're going to say, okay, what Ryan really showed up in the Rolly fight? Do we know he's going to be that same guy? Or are we going to see the killer that Ryan was before that? Rolly shut down the lead hand of Ryan Garcia. And when he did that, Ryan didn't have much else to.
That deep conviction from Henry suddenly meets a different lens when Wade begins breaking down the fight analytically. The tone shifts from emotional belief to cold, calculated matchup math, and the contrast is striking. Wade immediately zeroes in on the quiet press conference energy, and it clicks. That silence wasn't boredom. It was tension, weight cuts, and two fighters mentally conserving energy instead of performing for cameras. He also highlights Barrios towering over Ryan, a visual that can't be ignored. At 147 pounds, size isn't just aesthetics, it's physics stretched over 12 rounds. What really stands out is when Wade emphasizes that Ryan has invested fully in this camp. No partying, no shortcuts, completely locked in. That aligns perfectly with the mind-body-soul narrative Henry has been stressing, just viewed through a more skeptical, analytical lens. And here's where it gets really interesting. Wade starts asking the hard questions about what happens if Ryan doesn't find success early in the fight, probing the potential cracks in momentum and composure.
Ryan pick right now after, seeing him transform and lock into camp and seeing Barrios be very vulnerable to being hit. And this is why I'm also picking him as well. But I just think Barrios is too slow. I think his reaction time to things, I think he's a bit too methodical. And we'll see how his punch resistance holds up. If he can hold up at 47 and Ryan's power doesn't carry to 47, then we may have a different discussion here. I'm gonna go Ryan by, let's say, 7th round knockout. I'm gonna say Ryan in the 7th round knocks out Mario Barrios.
That's a psychological minefield, because fighters who rely on momentum hate encountering resistance. Wade keeps circling Ryan's reliance on the lead hook, and it's a perfect double-edged sword, both a lethal weapon and a source of tactical predictability living in the same punch. Then he casually points out that the right hand might be the real difference maker, a sharp, understated insight, especially against a durable, methodical champion like Barrios, who absorbs punishment and steadily marches forward. Wade's subtle skepticism toward Goossen's calm confidence also stands out, quietly contrasting with the loud certainty emanating from Ryan's corner. He notes that Ryan's speed allows him to take calculated risks, while Barrios depends on fundamentals and steady pressure. It's chaos versus structure in real time. Even while predicting a potential stoppage, Wade consistently warns about the deep waters, the risks from confident swings, and Barrios' durability. Translation: everyone sees the explosiveness. Nobody fully trusts the stability. And that tension is exactly what made this matchup so compelling.
It's not even a discussion to be had. If Ryan wins, boxing gets a face with a belt. If Mario wins, you're gonna have other options for him, and maybe he gets the boost off Ryan Garcia, but personality-wise, it's not even close who the fans cheer for, who they root for. That's not how boxing works. It doesn't matter how pretty you are, how many social media followers you got. I'm just saying, for the sport itself and the fandom, Ryan versus Shakur Stevenson, Ryan versus Conor Benn, Ryan versus Devin Haney in the rematch, those are a lot more intriguing fights to me. But doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen, and Mario Barrios is looking to absolutely shock everyone, and I'm telling you,
Step back and take it all in, and this fight stops being a simple speed versus pressure contest. It becomes a layered psychological story unfolding in real time. In the ring, we saw bursts of electric urgency collide with measured, stubborn composure. At the press conference, quiet confidence met raw emotional intensity. Behind the scenes, a father spoke of redemption while analysts broke down volatility. This isn't one narrative, it's 3 different fight realities happening simultaneously. Ryan's camp emphasized alignment, discipline, and a reborn mentality, while Barrios projected stability, structure, and championship patience. Then WDE's analysis reinforced the tension. Explosive talent with momentum swings versus a durable, methodical champion built for endurance. That's why this matchup never felt predictable. Every round revealed brilliance interrupted by resilience. Every confident display was checked by questions of consistency. Every bold move faced a calm, calculated counter. One fighter thrives on rhythm shocks and emotional surges. The other thrives on discomfort, pressure, and long-term control. This fight wasn't just about punches. It was about identity, discipline, and which mentality could endure chaos the longest under the brightest lights.